Imagine this moment. You find yourself at a juncture in life where everything appears fractured. Dreams are unfinished, cherished connections have faded, and a peculiar emptiness resonates within. Each dawn seems to carry a heavier weight than the last. You awaken with the thought that perhaps nothing will ever shift, that this anguish might be perpetual. Yet, my friend, if this message has found you, grasp this truth clearly. You are initiating the most significant comeback of your existence. Carl Jung once stated, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." This means suffering is the very road to spiritual awakening. The intense pain currently overwhelming you isn't meant to destroy you. It is actively rebuilding you. You may perceive your life as disintegrating, but the reality is, it is restructuring itself for your profound rebirth. Every remarkable metamorphosis starts in the dark. Just as a seed must crack open beneath the soil to blossom into a tree, you too are fracturing now to grow. This present instant, this confusion, this sorrow, this weariness, is not the conclusion. It is the rigorous process of becoming a renewed individual, someone more resilient, more insightful, the person you are always destined to be. Jung postulated that the human psyche comprises two sides, the light and the shadow. The light represents what you display externally, your joy, your assurance, your aspirations. But the shadow is the realm you conceal, your anxieties, your regrets, your fury, and your sorrow. The crucial insight is this: your resurgence commences the instant you cease avoiding your shadow. This inner darkness actually contains the secret to your authentic power. Perhaps you feel adrift at this time. You hardly recognize who you are anymore. The activities that once brought you contentment now feel meaningless. But what if I propose that this period of deconstruction is, in fact, your soul's method of calling you back to your true self? Sometimes, the universe must shatter your former identity so that you can finally encounter your genuine essence. Jung famously declared, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Ponder this deeply. Maybe all those setbacks, heartaches, and instances of rejection were not random occurrences. They served as reflections, revealing what still resides in your unconscious. The beliefs demanding confrontation, the wounds requiring healing. Therefore, if life feels as if it is breaking you, it is not retribution, it is preparation. You are not being interred, you are being planted. Every dark night, every tear shed, every hour of wakefulness is nourishing your resurrection. The cosmos is silently assuring you, don't concede just yet, you are nearly there. When Jung discussed the individuation process, he was referring to the path toward achieving completeness. It involves the synthesis of your light and shadow, your happiness and grief, your capability and your vulnerability. True wholeness is unattainable if you persist in the pretense that all is well. You must confront yourself with honesty, depth, and at times, pain. This current phase of your life is doing precisely that, compelling you to see yourself without any distortion. You may have endured betrayal. You might have failed in an endeavor you deeply cared about. You may have lost people you assumed would remain forever. But here is the lesson embedded in Jung's philosophy. Nothing is truly lost. Each conclusion is an opportunity for a new beginning. The demise of your former self creates the necessary space for your higher self, the self that is unafraid, aware, and liberated. So, do not resist this stage. Do not flee from your solitude. Do not suppress your suffering. Instead, sit with it. Experience it fully. Because pain, when experienced completely, transforms. And when it transforms, you ascend. Recall this: the comeback never originates in comfort. It begins amid disorder. It starts when your only remaining loss can be your own self-deceptions. That is when your authentic self emerges. The self that requires no validation, chases no approval, and harbors no fear of being alone. If this is reaching you, it is not by chance. Something profound within you already perceives that you are destined for a greater life. You are never fundamentally broken, merely unfinished. And this very moment is when life is sculpting you into the individual you were born to be. The unwavering truth is, the universe never squanders suffering. It converts it into power. This power will soon fuel your resurgence, a comeback so profound that even destiny will yield to it. Therefore, draw a deep breath. Close your eyes for a brief while and consider, what if every structure that collapsed was actually settling into its rightful place? What if this tempest that entered your life was not intended to obliterate you, but to pave the route ahead? Carl Jung believed that the soul frequently guides us into upheaval, not as chastisement, but as purification. Before you can ascend, you must recollect your genuine identity. Suffering possesses an extraordinary intelligence. It strips away every counterfeit element. The insincere smiles, the inauthentic companions, the hollow aspirations. It leaves you with only what is real, yourself. Once you confront yourself truthfully, without masks, something miraculous unfolds. The very experiences that once inflicted pain now initiate healing. The darkness that once terrified you now imparts wisdom. That is the moment you comprehend that this dissolution was never a misfortune. It was your awakening. Jung observed, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." Most individuals dedicate their entire lives pursuing external achievements. Affection, accomplishment, wealth, affirmation. However, genuine change commences the moment you look inward. When you cease blaming the external world and begin to ask, what truth is this experience attempting to show me? Because every suffering is a lesson, every bereavement is an instructor, every failure is an initiation. You are not the same individual you were a year ago, or even 1 month prior. You have navigated through fire. You have wept yourself to sleep, yet found the fortitude to wake up. That is not frailty. That is evolution. And a time will arrive when you reflect and realize that this pain, this disorientation, this solitary chapter was the most potent turning point of your entire existence. Perhaps now you are weary of maintaining your strength. Perhaps you await a clear indication that everything will eventually make sense. So, here it is. This moment, this message, this stillness is your signal. The cosmos is orchestrating everything in your favor. The individuals who departed were meant to leave. The entrances that sealed shut were never intended for you. The delay, the rejection, the diversion, all were a form of divine redirection. You are not behind schedule. You are precisely where you are intended to be. Life does not occur to you, it occurs for you. Every soul who has achieved a great resurgence first passed through a great breakdown. You are merely in the midst of your transformation, not at the conclusion of your narrative. Contemplate the phoenix. It must be entirely consumed by fire before it can ascend from its remnants. You, too, are incinerating your old self, your past anxieties, your former limitations. The fire you are in is not punishment, it is purification. You cannot enter your next phase carrying the burden of who you once were. You must relinquish it entirely. Jung referred to this procedure as the dark night of the soul. It is that phase where you feel detached, disoriented, and without hope. But what is genuinely happening is that your soul is casting off every falsehood. Your ego is fading. Your heart is learning to trust something more profound than intellect, intuition. You are learning the act of surrender, not giving up, but placing your trust. Trust that what is meant for you will always reach you, even if all else collapses. When that understanding takes hold, a quiet power awakens within. You start to move with serenity instead of panic. You stop pursuing and begin drawing things to you. You cease forcing and start flowing. you begin to comprehend that the universe never deprived you of anything. It simply substituted it with something superior, something authentic. So, if you feel you are breaking, keep moving forward. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. You are extending beyond the constraints of who you believed you were. And very soon, everything you suffered the loss of will return in a more elevated form. Better companions, deeper affection, greater purpose, more solid faith. This marks your season of resurgence. Not because you are battling the world, but because you are harmonizing with yourself. You have faced your gloom, you have confronted your shadow, and you are finally prepared to live with conscious awareness. That is the true triumph. Not the awards, not the acclaim, but the silent conviction that you have attained completeness. You are no longer the person you were prior to the pain. You are more judicious now, softer yet more formidable, calmer yet deeper. You have ceased the need to justify yourself because you have finally met yourself. And that is the profound meaning of Jung's words. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Therefore, ascend, not with rage or apprehension, but with assurance. Your soul has already survived every ordeal designed to destroy it. Now is the moment to live the comeback story that was destined for you long before you realized it had begun. The universe is not finished with you. In fact, it is just getting started. Soon, you will observe your surroundings and realize the pain that once nearly crushed you has become the very source of your radiance. Because this was never the conclusion of your story. This was the launch of your most monumental chapter, the resurgence of your life. A moment arrives when you finally stop inquiring, "Why did this occur to me?" And instead, you whisper, "Thank you for revealing what I needed to perceive." That is the instant you begin your quiet, powerful, and unwavering ascent. You stop seeking answers from the outside world and start trusting your internal compass. That subtle conviction that urges, persevere, you are almost there. Carl Jung believed that the deepest aim of life is not happiness, but wholeness. Happiness is ephemeral, but wholeness endures. It represents the merging of your light and shadow, your delight and sorrow, your strengths and weaknesses. When you attain that state, you no longer fear the dark, understanding that the light was birthed from it. You no longer fear solitude, having encountered the deepest facets of your being. And in that quietude, you discover a quality no external achievement can ever provide: peace. That is the actual essence of this comeback. Not about evolving into someone new, but recalling who you have always been beneath the superficial noise. The person who always possessed strength but forgot it. The one who always held intrinsic worth but questioned it. The one who always had purpose but became distracted pursuing matters of no consequence. You are not acquiring greater strength. You are simply recalling your existing strength. Every scar on your heart now narrates a tale, not of defeat, but of bravery. The nights you cried were not futile. They watered your very roots. The moments when you believed you could not persevere, those were the moments that constructed your soul's foundation. And now, observe yourself, still present, still inhaling, still standing. Perhaps exhausted, but unbroken. Perhaps scarred, but wiser. That is the portrait of a true comeback. Not loud, not flawless, but utterly real. You will begin to observe subtle transformations. The situations that once depleted you will no longer impact you. The individuals who caused you distress will lose their influence over you. And the aspirations that once felt unreachable will begin to feel natural once more, because you have elevated your vibrational frequency, your consciousness, your energy. You are no longer struggling against the world. You are moving in harmony with it. Remember this crucial point. The universe does not reward perfection. It rewards alignment. When you are true to your inner self, opportunities materialize effortlessly. Synchronicities emerge. You start meeting the appropriate individuals at the opportune moments, and gradually, your external environment begins to mirror your inner transformation. This is the secret of which Jung spoke. Once you integrate your inner world, your external reality shifts as if by magic. Perhaps you do not perceive it clearly right now. Perhaps circumstances are still complex, but trust in this. The healing is occurring. Even when you cannot sense it, your soul is undergoing realignment. Even in the quiet, the universe is making rearrangements. You are transitioning into a version of yourself that refuses to accept less, no longer fears rejection, and no longer doubts the divine timing. Your resurgence is not about retribution or proving detractors wrong. It is about peace. The tranquility that arrives when you finally comprehend that everything unfolded precisely as it had to for your profound awakening. You are never lagging behind. You are perpetually being guided. You are never truly lost. You are being led back home. Soon, a day will arrive, perhaps softly, perhaps unexpectedly, when you will smile and realize you succeeded. The tempest subsided. The fire raged, but it purified you. You will experience a deep sense of composure, not because life is flawless, but because you are no longer fearful of imperfection. You will carry your past not as a source of pain, but as a source of power, because you endured what was intended to break you and emerged stronger because of it. That is the essential reminder of Jung's teachings. The soul does not expand in comfort, it expands in chaos, it matures through loss and awakens through suffering. So, if you are still navigating the storm, do not lose hope. Every footstep you take in the gloom draws you nearer to the light, and when that light finally illuminates your life, you will understand why you first had to traverse the shadows. This was never solely about survival. It was about evolution. It was about remembering that your spirit was never delicate. It was shaped in fire. And that, my friend, is why this present moment is not your conclusion. It is your resurrection, the most profound comeback of your life. If these statements resonated with your spirit today, pause for a moment to breathe and recognize that this message did not materialize by chance. You encountered it because your soul is ready to heal, ready to ascend, ready to commence anew. Remember, your pain does not define you. Your resurgence defines you. And even when the world falls silent, your inner voice continues to whisper, "Keep going, you're almost there." We believe healing does not occur hastily. It occurs gently. One single realization, one single breath, one single act of valor at a time. Therefore, if you are currently navigating your own darkness, know this: you are not isolated. You are developing in ways you cannot yet perceive, and your metamorphosis has already commenced. Thank you for being here, for electing to grow, for electing to listen. Because each time you reconnect with your heart, you move one step closer to peace. This is your protected space. This is your awakening, where healing starts softly and strength is discovered within.